Welcome to the Married Moto Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 5 of
Married
Moto
Moto
Podcast.
Podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks. We had a weekend off last weekend, and we're going to be reviewing the Redbud race from this past weekend. And what an incredible race it was. And then we're going to preview Southwick coming up this weekend. It's going to be a crazy weekend of racing, but we're excited about it. We want to say thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed and followed us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Honestly, it means the world to us.
It really does.
We have about 3 million views in the last month across all of our platforms, and we're incredibly thankful. And we just want to welcome you into the Married Moto family. We got some merch coming soon. It's going to be some cool stuff. Excited to make some announcements. And so thank you so much for being involved. So we'll jump right in here to Redbud.
Let's go.
Redbud was incredible. Had a lot of drama in a lot of different ways. But we'll just start with the king of the day. Hunter went 2-1 for first overall this weekend. He beat Jett. He beat Hayden. He beat Prado. Tracked them all down, passed them. What do you think about Hunter's performance this weekend?
I think you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say Hunter was going to go 1-1 until he had that freak accident happen last lap of the first moto, which we were like, oh my goodness, no way. We knew he was going to be so upset about that, especially because he had Jett right behind him. Well, he was like 6 or 7 seconds back, I think. And then he couldn't get the bike started, and Jett was able to pass him. To that point, they were both really angry after the first moto. So I knew that Hunter was going to be angry, which made sense. But then when Jett was starting to like throw his helmet and be mad and tell the cameraman to go away, I was like, why is Jett mad? He just won, which I know he didn't win dominantly. So I think that's why he was mad, is he wasn't dominant, and his brother passed him just outright and up front, just passed him. And so I'm proud of Hunter for doing that. He's gaining confidence every race that we see. And I think he's a great contender for the title right now. It's really between him and Jett. I'm not counting anybody out, but right now it's really between him and Jett. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter proved a lot this past weekend. This is the first time really outdoors that we've seen somebody track Jett down, pass him, dominate him. There's been a couple other instances where he's been passed, but he was a little injured, and I know he's injured right now, but I think it's a little different with Hunter and what he knows about Jett. He knows probably about, which point in the moto he's probably the weakest.
Right.
So, to some, instance, I think that, it's his advantage riding with Jett every day.
Right.
But Hunter proved something this past weekend that we don't usually get to see from him, which is 9 times out of 10, he's even keel. He's not going to say a whole lot, not going to do a whole lot. But when he caught Jett, passed Jett, pulled away from Jett, and then fell down because of a bike malfunction, I don't know that we've ever seen him that upset visibly, publicly, than he was. And I think that made a huge difference for, number one, the fans, but just his own team. They now know, if they didn't before, privately, just how he feels about Jett. He knows that right now this is probably his only opportunity to beat Jett mano a mano. Jett's not 100%. He knows it. From the looks of it, Hunter's 100%.
Right.
And he's beating everybody like he's the most dominant guy. But he knows that if he wants to get a title, especially after he lost the title to Roxon, in the Supercross season. There's a little extra fire there.
For sure.
He knows that
That's a good
if
point.
Jett's on his A game and everything is happening, then his chances of winning are a lot less. He knows, especially after racing Roxon and now racing Jett. Roxon's a little older, had some injuries. He was fighting him for the Supercross title. Now Jett's a little bit injured. He's not at 100% form. The bike's not working 100% for him. His body's not working with the bike. He knows like his time is now. And if he doesn't capitalize now, there's a great chance that he may never win another title.
I think that's a really great point. If he wants to go do it, it's now. Especially because Hunter has been so close in winning titles, whether it was SMX against Jett for 2 years in a row. It was 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then losing the Supercross title to Roxon. It's too close. And I think right now he's trying to capitalize on as many points he can win. He's going to take that. So him losing 3 points in the first moto is devastating. It's devastating because when you lose a title by 1 to 3 points, it's like I was so close and I couldn't do it. And I think that's really heartbreaking for him. And like you said, if he's going to do it, it's now because Jett's not 100%. But that doesn't disqualify Hunter's talent. We can't say just because Jett's not at 100%, that means that, Hunter has every opportunity to win the title. I feel like that's unfair to say because Hunter's very talented and he straight up beat Jett and also every other rider on that track. So we can't discount his talent and his ability to win a title. So especially how close he was in Supercross and, the last 2 years of SMX against Jett, we can't count him out. So,
especially with how close everything has been, like you said, Jett was at 100% in those environments. He's not at 100% right now. So even those 3 points that he lost that first moto this past weekend are absolutely huge to him because he knows I was that close at his best. So if I'm losing these few points while he's wounded and I still lose, like that's on me. And so I think when he pulled in, this past weekend, first moto, and he and Jett both were just going kind of ballistic. They were upset and emotions were raging. Like, I love to see it as a fan of the sport. But you can almost like feel for them because you knew something was going on that was, deeper than what was even on the surface.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Hunter put on an amazing performance. He tracked Deegan down, he tracked Jett down, and he 100% showed at Redbud in Buchanan, Michigan on July 4th. He was the best rider in the world that day, and kudos to Hunter Lawrence because he's earned it. He has he's walked through a lot of adversity. He's walked through a lot of conversations other people has had about him and his brother and how he's the older brother but he's never won and all these different things. Well, he proved on Saturday that he was the best guy. And I think subconsciously down deep, even though Jett wants his brother to do well, that bothered Jett.
Of course it did.
Because that was the first time he was like super vulnerable to his brother. And not only was he vulnerable, his brother Hunter was willing to capitalize on his vulnerability. But it's so like mid-season. I mean, that's the 5th round of 11 rounds. It's mid-season. So, it's been 6-7 weeks since the season started. And everybody was expecting Jett to be at perfect form. By now, he has won 2 overalls, but Hunter's won 3 overalls. And so they've kind of traded back and forth. And so I think that this coming weekend is a huge tell sign on who wants it the most. I think genuinely that's what it's going to come down to. It's not going to come down to talent. It's going to come down to, does Hunter want it the most or does Jett want it the most? Because whoever wants it the most is going to win. Jett will overcome his injury to push through a few rounds, through pain, through uncomfortability on the bike to figure it out. Whoever wants it the most is going to win. I think that is what I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And to your point about Jett, wanting to see Hunter win and vice versa, maybe. I mean, Hunter obviously supports his brother, but when he wins everything, it's probably a little frustrating to him. But to your point, last year when we watched them race against each other, we saw Hunter win a few motos against Jett, but it was only when Jett knew he had the overall. Right. So it was when it was like second moto second moto, whichever race it was, few races, Jett knew if he finished second, he still would have gotten the overall. So he goes, I'm going to let Hunter have it. Just to, give him a win here and there, give him some confidence. This time is different because they're fighting for the overall, period. There's no like, oh, if he wins this moto, I'll still get the overall. It's not about that anymore. It's about every point to salvage and to win every moto you possibly can. So I just thought that was an interesting point that you said, because they want to see each other win and they support each other and they love each other. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, they both want to win. They both have the drive and they both have the hunger to win. I mean, this is a sport that, it's very competitive, but also there's a lot on the line and a lot of history has been made. And regardless of, we're brothers, they both want to make history in their own way, in their own right. So I respect it and I love to see it. And I think it's great for the sport. I really do. I think it's amazing. And they're both so talented. So that helps for sure, So.
Absolutely. So let's move on to second overall, Jorge Prado. He definitely pulled himself out of the hole that he was in a little bit. Everybody understands what he went through last season outdoors. He is a 2-time MXGP champion. And so coming into this outdoor season, he's seemed to really struggle a little bit, even though he has been on the KTM, the bike that he wants to be on, opposed to Kawasaki from last year. I mean, we just watched him 2 weeks ago, second moto in front of Deegan, get a pit board that says break him, and then he got absolutely destroyed by Deegan in the last few laps. So to see him come out this weekend, get better starts, to go, he went, 3-2 on the weekend, which was huge. To see that all happen and to see him getting better, I think it adds to the storyline for motocross because he is great. He gets great starts. He's got a second year on all the tracks, so he understands it a little bit better. He's a little bit more prepared. He's on a bike that he wants to be on. For sure. So to see him go out and do well this weekend was cool to see. But when you look at it, you're like, okay, he went 3-2 for second overall. That's awesome. But Jett had issues. Deegan had issues. Next weekend coming into Southwick, the Coonan brothers are going to be back. When the Coonan brothers were here at Lakewood, at Thunder Valley, he wasn't the best KTM 450 rider on the track. It was the Coonans. And so, it's going to be interesting to watch this weekend, but this is more, if there's any track on the circuit that's more European or sand, leans more to a great sand rider, this is that track. So I think Prado's going to be good this weekend. He'll be in the mix. He'll get great starts. But what do you think about his performance this past weekend?
I think Prado's great for the competition, especially because we have a lot of key riders out. We got Tomac out. We have Sexton out. We now have Plessinger out. We just have a lot of top guys out. And so to see Prado come in from the struggles that he had last year and to see him do fairly well this season, I think it's great. I think it's great to have guys up there in the mix that aren't, Jett, Hunter, Deegan, let's say fairly Deegan, and Lucas Kunin. There hasn't been any other rider being top 3 other than, Prado. So I think he's doing great, and I'm excited to see if he progresses this season, especially being on the bike he wants to be, like you said, KTM, and overcoming the challenges he went through last year. And I'm here for it. I love it.
I think for Prado's circumstance, this next weekend at Southwick is a huge weekend for everybody. For Hunter, Jett, Deegan, Prado, Lucas Kunin. Because whoever wins this weekend is going to be the storyline for the remainder of the season. If Deegan comes out, does great, he's going to put a damper on everybody else's story. Hunter the same way, Jett the same way. They're all going to be great here. I mean, Deegan just rented out the track a couple weeks ago. So it's going to be interesting to see how Prado can fare against everybody else. But this was his best finish last year on the Kawasaki. So if he says he's going to be better on the KTM, he could go 2-2, could go 1-1. He could get second, third, first overall. Who knows? But we're going to find out. It's going to be a great race. So we'll move on to Jett Lawrence here. He got third overall. He went 1-5 for third overall. Honestly, this was probably Jett's worst race of the season so far. He was on the ground twice in that second moto. He inherited the lead from Hunter after getting passed and dominated for the last few laps in moto number 1. He got beat by Deegan in the second moto. I mean, he was right behind Deegan, going to try to make a pass and then made a mistake. And right behind Deegan. And Deegan's been watching that all week and like, yeah, I got him. But the truth is, Jett's trying to understand how to ride this motorcycle with his injury that he has. And I think it's a lot more difficult than people understand. But I'm actually not worried. I think there's a great chance that Jett comes out and goes 1-1, or at least gets first overall this next weekend at Southwick. Mainly
Surprised you're saying that.
Mainly because when you're the best at something, and he has been the best for a while on a 450 motorcycle, when you're the best at something, your will to win and will to continue to be the best will overcome any adversity you face if you're willing to allow the work to be done to do it. I think some of it's the bike.
Yeah.
I think some of it's his body. But in between the ears, I still think that he's the best on the starting gate. And if he can figure out those little nuances of the motorcycle and himself, as he is the best in the world, he's been the best in the world for a long time. The best riders in the world all think that he's the best in the world. Just like Lucas Kunin said about him when he lost to him at Thunder Valley. He's the best in the world. Everybody's watched his body of work and goes, he's one of the best to ever do it. When you're on that level, you figure it out.
Yeah.
The will to win will overcome any adversity that you face. We've seen it in so many sports, so many action sports, whatever the case may be. When you have a desire to win, you will overcome any adversity. And I actually think, even though I think Deegan's going to be a problem, obviously Lucas Kunin, Hunter Lawrence is going to be a problem. I think Jett may have the advantage this weekend if he can figure the things out. But here's what's interesting. There was one 250 season that Hunter Lawrence raced Jett Lawrence. The only race that Hunter beat Jett was at Southwick. And Hunter Lawrence went 1-1. And Jett went 2-2. And Hunter beat him. So they both can ride sand well. Hunter's got the confidence. He's got the bike on point. Also, you got Deegan, who went 1-1 last year at Southwick. Whole shots gone. Like, this is shaping up to be one of the best races of the entire season, especially with Lucas Coonan coming over.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think Jett's just so good.
Yeah.
I just think that he's going to lean on some intuition. He's going to lean on some talent. He's going to lean on some gifting, some God-given ability. And I think he's going to take the overall win. I don't know. It's honestly a toss-up. It could go 5 different ways. But what do you think about Jett's chances for this coming weekend at Southwick and kind of seeing what he's been walking through the last few weeks? I think he's going to be really aggravated, really upset. And I think that's going to channel some of his energy towards his performance. What do you think?
Yeah, to your point, you saying this is probably one of the worst weekends he has had. It really was. I mean, first moto, he got passed by his brother straight up, and only won because his brother fell literally last lap, halfway through the track. So I don't think he felt like he earned that win at all. So he was already very upset. Second moto, he was behind Deegan and he was pushing and he couldn't do it. He couldn't pass him. He made a grave mistake that put him back to 8th and then also made another mistake that put him back again to 11th or 12th. And then, he had to push his way back. He's probably replaying that over and over and over again. He's like, I can't believe I made that mistake. And he doesn't make mistakes like that often. And when he does, we know he beats himself up over that. And so he definitely has a fire right now. He's like, I have to go out this weekend and I have to win. There's no other option for him. Right. After the weekend that he had, there's really no other option for him, especially because in that second moto, he was right behind Deegan and he fell. He's so upset about that. And he never wants that to happen again. So he has a fire in him this weekend. I think what's tough for him is, like you said, he's trying to learn the bike and he's adjusting to his injury. And I think that if this was Jett at 100%, he would have passed Deegan and Prado easily. No question about it.
And Hunter probably wouldn't have passed him either.
And Hunter, yeah, right. Hunter wouldn't have passed him.
Right.
That's what's making him so upset. That's why he was so upset after the first moto, because he's like, oh my gosh, I just straight up got passed by my brother when I was out leading and I couldn't hold it. I couldn't do it. So I think he's really struggling that he can't be as aggressive as he wants to be. He wants to go out. He wants to go fast. He wants to be able to be as smooth as he usually is and take the lines he wants to. But he's got to be strategic on how he rides the bike and how it's, the weight distribution, how it's not hurting his ankle. And also the new brake pedal, how it's a little bit high. He's adjusting to a lot. And so I do think he's got a fire under him for this weekend to just go out and make a statement and be like, y'all can't forget about me. You cannot forget about me and what I've accomplished in this 450 class. And even though I'm not 100%, I'm still Jett Lawrence. And y'all will remember my name. This is the weekend to do it.
This is the weekend.
This is the weekend to do it. You're absolutely right. This is the weekend to do it because Deegan has an advantage on this track. He's historically done great, and so was Hunter. So this is his opportunity to go out and dominate and say, I'm still Jett, and y'all don't forget about me. Y'all don't forget about me.
Well, we're going to find out here in just a few days.
I know.
It's going to be a great race. I'm excited about it.
Me too.
So let's move on to Hayden Deegan here. As you can see, got my Danger shirt on. Danger Zone.
I got my Honda on.
And, Deegan did a great job this past weekend. Redbud, as much as we want him to carry the flag for us every, 4th of July weekend at Redbud, he always historically has had a tough race at Redbud. He did, however, get a last place start because he crashed in the first turn in the first moto and charged back to 10th, which commend him for that. That was an incredible ride to not give up, keep pushing, keep going. But I think he exerted so much energy that second moto, even though he started on the inside and he got that second, third place start, he was in second for, behind Prado for a while, but he just could not push. And when you exert that kind of energy on a day like that, that's just hot and humid and, it's just taking everything out of you, especially after coming from 40th to 10th place, like, that's a tough day. But I do believe that him coming to 10th place on a day like that and giving everything he had earned a lot of respect from every rider on the track, but also the fans, because everybody has a mixed emotions for Deegan. I love Deegan. I know you like Deegan. I know you're, a Lawrence fan, and I like the Lawrences too. But at the same time, I think that Deegan has a lot to prove coming into this next weekend. If for some crazy reason, because he rented out the track a couple weeks ago, and he did get third this past weekend, which was huge. He ran second for most of the race. Hunter Lawrence caught him late. He was probably a little tired, a little spent from that first moto exertion. Hunter got him and put, 10, 15 seconds on him or whatever. But I think coming into Southwick, he's got a real opportunity. He rented out the track. He knows it well. He knows how it flows. He knows how the bike's going to be set up. They're learning a new bike. It's a new season. It's a 450 season. They're trying to find out how the bike reacts in every different scenario. Him renting out the track a couple weeks ago, I think is going to be a huge deal. I think you're going to see the bike setup be unlike any bike setup he's had at any track so far. I think it's going to be almost perfect for him, even though it'll be ripped a little deeper or whatever. I think Deegan is going to have an advantage over everybody else because Jett's still only riding once or twice a week. Hunter is riding, a great bike, a lot of confidence. But this is going to be the first time that Lucas Coonen's ever ridden this track. So, I think if you put everything up on a board and you look at it, you go, okay, it could go one of 5 different ways. It could go Hunter, Jett, Lucas, Deegan, Prado. I mean, who knows? I don't think anybody else is really in that conversation, the 450 class. So I'm excited. I think that Hayden, if there's any race that he could get in there and really mix it up, I kind of take the idea from Daniel Blair. He said this might be the race that he really gets in there and throws it down and makes a huge ruckus, because obviously Jett's not 100%. This track will beat you up so badly that if you're not in shape or you're hurting or something like that, it's going to be bad. And without like Sexton being there or Tomac being there, I think he's got a real opportunity to get in there, push the envelope, push the narrative. And, we're going to see by the time qualifying comes how it happens. And I think, honestly, too, this fits his riding style a little better. He loves to blow berms. He loves to blow through things. Jett and Hunter and Prado and even probably Lucas are a little bit more methodical. They want to jump bumps and not get too deep in or whatever.
Right.
I think that because of his anomalies in that environment, him being willing to just do like a Tomac would do, go in and blow a berm or blow through things, just send it. I've watched, over the years, Tomac and Rocks and guys like that ride this track a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I think Deegan's got a real good chance. He could get in there and be a spoiler for everybody. Everybody's like, oh, Hunter's going to win. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lucas this and Jett this, mm-hmm. Prado this. Well, you never know. Yeah. Danger boy Deegan may get in there and just mess everything up. Come on, Deegs, let's go.
That's all I hear every Saturday.
Deegan!
That's literally all I hear.
Love me some Deegs.
The first moto last weekend, I literally was just silent because I knew you were so upset.
So mad. I was like, 38?
I was like,
really?
I was just silent because I was like, I'm not going to say anything.
Don't say
Until like halfway through, I'm like, so how are you feeling right now? Are you okay?
No. But hey, he
it.
charged hard. Much respect.
Yes, respect. I think for Deegan, what's really important for the next half of the season is his starts.
For sure.
He's fast. And I think it's inevitable that he's going to win at some point. I know there are a lot of people that have been hating on Deegan. I'm not a huge Deegan fan. I'm not like, rooting for him to win the championship or anything. My husband is the opposite.
38.
I'm not saying that I'm like rooting for him, but I'm also not saying that he's not gonna inevitably go and win an overall or win a moto. I mean, maybe this season. I'm not gonna count him out for that. If he goes and gets a whole shot, he's gonna be out. I mean, you just can't. He's gonna be gone because when he's in that position, he has every incentive to just go and send it if he doesn't make any mistakes. Just go and send it and try to win. So I think Deegan really needs to focus this weekend on just getting his starts. If he can go get the whole shot, who says he can't win the moto? I'm not saying that. So if he goes and he can get these starts under control, hey, he could win this weekend.
So you're
at least one moto. At least one moto. I'm not saying he's going to win the overall this weekend. Not yet.
So what you're saying is you love Deegan.
That's not what I'm saying, actually. That's actually not what I'm saying.
I thought I heard that. You love Deegs. He's the best in the world ever?
I said last week, and I was like, and Jett's just the GOAT. And you said, he's just a lamb.
He's a little lamb.
I'm like, oh, okay, so what does a lamb do in the 450 class? And he goes freaking 22-0.
Well, the GOAT, the actual GOAT, did it twice. Ricky Carmichael. And he went 2 times.
Okay, well, we're talking about this generation.
This era.
Like, I'm not putting no disrespect on Ricky Carmichael or James Stewart or any of those guys because they've paved the way for a lot of these riders that look up to those guys. I'm not putting any shade on them. I'm just saying for new fans to the sport, for people who don't know those riders or have never really like seen their races but know their accomplishments, and they see Jett go and did what he did in 2023, right. That's their favorite rider of all time. That's their person that they're like, oh my gosh, this is like the best rider in the world. We have heard so many other riders from different countries say that Jett is the best in the world, at least right now. I'm not comparing him to any of the GOATs of the sport in the past. But what I'm saying is when I said that, I say in this generation of motocross and the sport.
And he is.
So,
and everybody knows it.
And people made fun of me for that. And I'm like, so what do you have to say to that? So then who's the GOAT? Tomac? I mean, Tomac has done great things. He's won 2 Supercross titles. And how many?
4
motocross
3
titles.
in a row.
Tomac has done great things, and Tomac could also be up there as well. So I'm not counting out Tomac either for that spot. But people who made fun of me for saying, "Oh, and Jett's the GOAT," I'm like, y'all need to relax. Like, it's just my opinion. So y'all can have your own opinions. If you don't want to listen, you don't have to listen. But that's just my opinion. So
for sure. All right, walking into Southwick this weekend. It's a huge race for a lot of reasons we've talked about already. I want your top 3 predictions right now. Who gets first, second, third overall, and then I'll share mine, and then we'll put this Southwick debate to bed. What do you think? First, second, third overall.
That is so tough because, like we said, Jett has something to prove. I'm not counting him out for first overall, but we can't count out Hunter because of what he just did this past weekend. So I don't know, honey.
You gotta pick.
Especially because Lucas Kunin in the 450 class. I know Sasha will be riding in the 250, but we're just talking about 450. I don't know. I really don't, because I feel like Deegan's going to come out and just do something crazy.
You have to pick.
You
Come
put
on.
me on the
1, 2, 3.
spot.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I'm going Jett just because he's got something to prove. And he's Jett. Okay? I'm going Hunter because he's also got something to prove and he's on a roll right now and he's been very consistent. I can't put Deegan in second right now because of historically what he's done this past 5 weeks. So I just can't put him up there yet. I'm really struggling because I know Lucas Kunin I feel like is going to do great. It's between Lucas Kunin, Deegan, and Prado. I'm just going to go Deegan. I'm just going to go Deegan third overall. That's my pick.
Kind of crazy.
Is that crazy? Is that really
A
crazy?
little bit.
Or am I going off of historically these past 5 weeks and what those riders have done?
I mean that's a great take. Here's what I think. I think
you don't say Deegan number 1 because you just said Jett was most likely gonna go 1-1. So don't switch up.
This is a hot take.
Don't switch up.
I actually think it goes Jett wins the first moto. Lucas gets second the first moto. And then Lucas Kunin gets first the second moto.
That's kind of crazy, actually.
I think it's gonna go Kunin.
Why would you?
Hey, let me make my pick.
Okay. I can't judge. I'm not gonna judge.
I think it's gonna go Kunin, Deegan, Jett Lawrence.
That's whack.
Jett Lawrence.
Whack.
Jett Lawrence, and Hunter Lawrence gets 4th overall. Here's why. I think that Hunter hasn't had a bad moto or anything all season. He's kind of due for one. If you remember when he was racing Deegan in the 250,
did have a bad moto,
and it was
though.
at this track, and it was in Moto 1.
Yeah, but we just talked about Hunter going 1-1 against Jett at this track.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when he was racing Deegan, not Jett.
Okay, fair, but
I think here's the thing. You get your opinion, I get mine.
No, you're right.
I think it goes Kunin, Deegan.
Overall?
Kunin overall. Deegan, Jett Lawrence. Hunter Lawrence gets 4th. Jorge Prado gets a bad start in Moto number 2.
Whack.
And gets 5th overall. So these are our picks for Southwick. We're going to find out this weekend. And thank you so much for joining us for episode 5 of Married Moto Podcast. And can't wait to tune in with you guys next week and see how everything shakes out. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, sharing with your friends, following us on all of our social media. We have some merchandise coming out here soon. Super excited for that. Thank you for all the love and support, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, let us know who your top 3 picks are for Southwick.
Yes, let us know.
Comments.
Let us know in the comments who you got.
Yep.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.